Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about fraud in the commercial sector, and I am joined by Sara Costantini, Managing Director of CRIF Decision Solutions UK and Ireland. Hello Sara and
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you.
CRIF and Post together recently conducted some research into fraud detection in the commercial sector. Were you surprised by the results?
I was amazed and very interested by the results. Actually, 88% of the surveyed stated that the commercial space is far behind the personal line. Particularly, they stated that fraud in the claim space can be referred to probably 2 to 3 years behind the personal lines, whilst fraud at underwriting stage are even 5 years behind the line. A very important priority that came along from the surveyed was clearly the fact that there is a lack of claim database, a lack of shared information, just like it is in the personal line. We know that the industry has been using Q database for the claim underwriting purpose in the last 20 years, as well as they use MID, MyAfter, etc. So this is something that the industry apparently wants. So, work in progress. All the parties seem to be very interested in moving along and starting to work together.
So, what lessons could the commercial sector learn from the personal lines?
I think, to be fair with both industries and both sectors, they invest a lot of resources and money to cope and try to fight the fraud problems. What is also fair to say is that there is a big difference between the two sectors on the basis that the commercial one is more broker lead, and there is a stricter cooperation between brokers and insurance companies, more than in personal line to some extent. Apart from that, there are, I think, 3 main areas or 3 main lessons learned from this experience. One is related to data and the lack of a unified source of information, just like in the personal line. We mentioned already the Q database, and we mentioned the fact that in the personal line, the insurance industry has benefited from 20 years' experience in sharing personal information, personal injury information, motor and household. There is a huge amount of data, huge amount of records, almost 50 million records in the database to be provided and to be useful for the industry. And this is not present in the commercial space. Another area that was labeled as a pain point by the surveyed was the profiling of the customer at underwriting stage. The profiling of the customers at underwriting stage can be achieved by having databases to be inquired at underwriting stage, to fill information for the users. In CRIF VisionNet, for example, we do have business information report that are a huge comprehensive set of data about financial risk of the company, business information in terms of directors, exposure of the directors, scoring related to the company itself. So this is quite a good asset to be provided. So the third pain point was related to customer profiling and the fact of having pre-population of data that is quite important at that stage to do what? To basically avoid human error, improve the performance of the process, and also make a better user journey for the final customer.
Motor is very much seen as the area most susceptible to fraud. How do you expect that to evolve over the coming years?
It is fair to say that motor fraud in the commercial space have improved a lot in terms of fraud fighting. For example, the usage of telemetry and telematics, as well as cameras on board, and as well as a better education of the policyholder in terms of reporting of claims and accident, have done a lot in the last period. With regards to the future of commercial and fraud, I think that even the survey stated quite clearly that one of the emerging threats is about the risk in cyber fraud. Cyber was not even a word mentioned in the last year's report from Intel, whilst at the moment fraud in the cyber area is something that is reported as one of the 4 main threats for a company. So this is even more reinforced by the government statistics that reported that last year 43% of companies have been subject to cyber fraud and cyber attack. This is even more reinforced by the 72% of large companies affected by that problem. Now, why is this happening? This is because companies are on the web, and because the web is open to anybody. So all the data are put at a threat. Data about customers, payment, data about the company itself, and also current employees or previous employees, former employees. So the company needs to protect about this. Furthermore, insurance companies providing insurance cyber risk coverage need to do this in terms of applying the right quote as well as mitigate the risk and fight fraud.
Based on your observations, what other advice can you offer on fighting commercial insurance fraud?
I think that the advice comes from the survey again, and what we can say is that for sure one pain point, so advice for the future, is a better communication between stakeholders like brokers and insurance companies on one side. Another advice that a survey recommended was a better usage of data, the request for integrated and shared database, as well as more online up-to-speed information. In CRIF, through the Decision Hub, what we could provide is exactly a platform to put the stakeholders into communication, as well as up-to-speed real-time information that are integrated and that could provide the industry to better manage and mitigate the risk, as well as fight commercial insurance fraud.
Thank you very much, Sara, for joining us today. For more information on commercial insurance fraud and other topics, please visit our website, postonline.co.uk.